It's been a little bit over a year since Batman The Adventures Continue was first announced, and the DCAU content train is just not stopping. Not that that's a bad thing by any means, but boy, howdy is it a lot to cover. When this channel first started all the way back in 2015, the most recent DCAU content was a couple of kids' books that took the style but not necessarily the continuity, some Batman Beyond comics that kind of tried to play in that world but didn't really get it just right, and of course the Batman Beyond short that Darwin Cook did for Batman's 75th anniversary. There was no way for us to know at the time that the universe was going to come back in the way that it has since then. And now, in a few days from recording, the adventures continue again, and this time they're bringing a friend along for the ride. It's an exciting time to be a DCAU fan and a more confusing time to be DCAU content creators. As a team, we've gone from digging deep into how often overlooked tie-in material affects this thought to be dead world at large to being a source of news and reviews for upcoming and currently running comic books because, psych, this world isn't actually dead at all. It's just hibernating for a little bit. All this to say that there's going to be some growing pains getting used to this. Like, we had an entire schedule of videos all throughout the summer, including some non-DCAU content, and now that's all gotta be brushed under the rug because we have 2 comic books to deal with now instead of just 1, and we didn't even know that we were gonna have that one in the first place this time around, and it's just... it's a lot. But hopefully you're just as excited for our coverage on Batman The Adventures Continue Season 2 and Justice League Infinity as you were for Batman The Adventures Continue Season 1. Starting off with The Adventures Continue, solicits for the first issue read, ooh, I can definitely read the solicit just off of my thing, right? Like, you'll just put that on screen instead of like just having me look like a doofus looking at my computer. Of course, now that I say that. Gotham City is changing. After Mayor Hill is killed by a mysterious assailant, Batman finds himself tracking down an ancient order that's long been buried under the streets of Gotham, the Court of Owls. But what does this group have to gain from the death of Mayor Hill? And how can Deadman help the Dark Knight? Will the clues lead Batman to an ancient Gotham City legend? Of course, if you've been following Batman The Adventures Continue news since the beginning, the inclusion of the Court of Owls isn't really much of a surprise. After all, before DC Direct shut down, there was a Talon action figure planned to accompany the rest of the toy line, with multiple designs being shown off at conventions beforehand. However, this does raise the question of how many of these leftover toys will end up finding their way into this season's story. The first season was able to fit 4 different action figures into 7 issues, if you're not including the Christmas special, the holiday special, I guess there was some New Year's in it, holiday hoobie wuddy. So the question is, will we be seeing something similar here with the last 5 figures of this line? Is this thing going to just go off the rails with a multiverse story that includes Flashpoint Batman and Vampire Batman and Batman Who Laughs and for some reason also Hush LOL? Or now that there aren't any toys to sell, will we get more of a slow burn this time with the Court of Owls storyline that feels maybe a bit more cohesive than last time? Though, I suppose, more importantly than guessing what characters might show up, what's up with the characters that we do know will be here? Right away, the solicit separates itself from previous Adventures continuity by killing off Mayor Hamilton Hill. While he was previously present through the Justice League era, as seen in Batman Adventures Volume 2, it seems as though Dini and Burnett are trying to clear him off the board a little bit earlier in order to pay homage to on-screen continuity in Batman Beyond, where we see Terry McGinnis and all of his high school buddies attending Hamilton Hill High School, named in honor of the long dead Mayor. There's a motorcycle. I had it this time. Of course, not being beholden to the previous Adventures continuity might mean that we're also going to see a shakeup in Deadman's DC animated universe continuity as well. Featured heavily in the 2 preview pages, as well as a sneak peek that colorist Monica Kubina shared on her Instagram recently, Deadman was first introduced to the DCAU through stories penned by Ty Templeton that established a relationship with Dick Grayson due to both coming from Haley's Circus. While some of the available panels suggest that those connections may still be there, just don't be surprised if they end up contradicting what came before. The Vreeland family looks to be returning in a major way following Veronica Vreeland's cameo back in season 1, with her father, General Vreeland from Harley's Holiday, possibly having a connection to the Court of Owls. Maybe more exciting than the return of Boston Brand or the Vreelands though, is that we finally have confirmation that Nightwing is in this He's here! I'm excited that he's back. Honestly, it's a relief. So many covers had him on it, and he was never there. This time, we finally have him, but oh my God. I just realized the fact that Nightwing is here, and that we had that cliffhanger with like Jason Todd and Deathstroke, means we're gonna get like a like, who the is this Robin thing going on at some point in this comic, and I'm not looking forward to that. I don't want this to become the Jason Todd show again. But this time, the covers make sense at least. So that's nice. That's a nice thing to have. We've even got some issue on issue number 2 already. The solicit for this one reads, thanks to some magical help from Zatanna, Batman can now see Deadman. Joining forces, the Dark Knight and death-defying Spectre hatch a plan to apprehend the treacherous Talon, but the mysterious assassin gets the upper hand and captures Hamilton Hill Jr. Can Batman and Deadman track the regeneration formula components and find the sinister Court of Owls' secret passageways? Or will Gotham finally fall under the court's full control? Given that Bruce was possessed by Deadman back in Gotham Adventures, it seems as though this solicit only points to what I was saying earlier about how the other tie-in comics just aren't being taken into consideration. I mean, despite being possessed, Bruce didn't technically see him in that issue either, but I just don't have much faith that the two will mesh. That's fine. That doesn't mean it's not gonna be good. You get it. The tie-in material never 100% matched each other in the past before anyway. It's just nice when it does. Perhaps more concerning though is the mention of Hamilton Hill Jr. And you may be asking yourself right now, Hamilton Hill has a son. There was that entire Batman the Animated Series episode where he got kidnapped by the Joker and all those things happened. The guy's there. Why is he a problem? Well...
By the way, have you seen my son, Jordan? Smile, Jordan. Jordan will be so happy to see you. Jordan, I've got more guests for you to meet. I don't know where Jordan could have gone.
Where's Jordan?
His son, Jordan.
I'm sure the police will find Jordan.
Jordan!
This isn't a game, Jordan.
Jordan! Jordan!
There is actually a character named Hamilton Hill Jr. who first appeared in 2018's Detective Comics 969. Nice. And from what I can tell, he hasn't appeared since then. So the choice to use him in lieu of Hamilton Hill's already DCAU established son certainly raises some eyebrows. Did they get this wrong? Does Jordan just have an older brother? Was Jordan Hamilton Hill Jr.'s middle name and he's Hamilton Jordan Hill Jr.? Or as James suggested to me earlier this morning, maybe even the solicit just got it wrong again, like the Star Labs Wayne Tech thing from all the way back in chapter 1 last year. Whatever it is, it's just another thing that we'll have to wait and find out about. Speaking of raised eyebrows, that mention of a regeneration formula is pretty interesting. You may remember last season, there was this whole dangling plot thread of Firefly having been so badly damaged and was with Cobra now, revived or nursed back to health. While I think this theory is way out of left field, Ted is convinced that they killed Nora off to set up her coming back to life again. I replied to this and I just told him I'm gonna start calling him Plastic Man because it's a hell of a stretch. We don't need two stretchy guys, but we'll get to We'll get to that in a second. Past the first 2 issues, not much else is known about the series at this point. Not even if last season's breakout star, Mr. Wing, will be returning. I think it's safe to assume that we'll get a resolution to the cliffhanger with Jason Todd and Deathstroke. Otherwise, everything is just up in the air, and so that brings us to Justice League Infinity, where there's a guy in the air, but instead of the regular air, it's space. I know I didn't talk about the creatives behind BTAC this time around because it's the same people as last time, but with Justice League Infinity, we have to talk about them.
Hey, it's the silly, funny, zany James interruption. I'm just here to announce our 67,000 subscriber giveaway. We passed that a couple weeks ago, but I was working on the Willet Cannon for a very long time. The prize for that one was a signed piece of custom artwork by yours truly in the DC Animated Universe art style. So, hang on a sec. I need a little bit of help to announce the winner. Can you tell the audience who won? Their name is right here. Can you just read it? You can do it. All I have to do is read. What is so hard about that? Yes, close enough. Yeah, so the next giveaway is at 71,000 subscribers, and that's a Red Hood action figure from the Batman the Adventures. Batman the Adventures Continue action figure line. You can find all of the giveaways listed at watchtowerdatabase.com/contest. There's like 15 more giveaways on our way to 100,000 subscribers. And all you have to do to enter them is leave a comment on videos. When we reach a certain subscriber checkpoint, we'll pick a winner from those comments. Whatever the most recent video is when that happens. Just feed the algorithm beast constantly. And go watch that Willet Cannon, because I put a lot of work into it. I don't care that it's 50 minutes long. Figure it out. Schedule your time. You say bye to the folks at home? Okay, back to Maddie.
Just like The Adventures Continue, Justice League Infinity is being put together by DCAU alumni, including J.M. DeMatteis, who's responsible for episodes like The Man Who Has Everything, The Return, and Clash, to name a few, as well as a storied history as a comics writer, including fan favorite books like Justice League International. Accompanying him is James Tucker, who goes all the way back as a character designer for Superman the Animated Series, but really came into his own as a producer on Justice League Unlimited, Batman the Brave and the Bold, Legion of Superheroes, and of course the DC animated movie universe, which some have dubbed as the Tuckerverse. He doesn't like that one being called the Tuckerverse though, just so you know. On art duty for this book, we have Ethan Beavers, who has played around in the DC animated worlds before, not only storyboarding an episode of Justice League Unlimited, but also tie-in books for Batman the Brave and the Bold, Justice League Unlimited, as well as Capstone's line of DC animated books for younger readers that I mentioned earlier. And last but not least, colorist Nick Filardi, who might be most well known for his work on The Umbrella Academy, Cave Carson Has a Cybernetic Eye, and Batman Streets of Gotham. He also seems to be aware of the channel's existence, so I don't know if you're a regular viewer or not, but Nick, if you're watching, hello, hi. Short of Bruce Timm himself coming back, I don't know how you could ask for a more stacked up lineup on this book than this. But if that's not enough to get the hype going for you, let's look at the premise. From DC, the 7-issue limited series stars all of the fan favorite characters from the revered series. Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, The Flash, Green Lantern John Stewart, Hawkgirl, and Martian Manhunter banding together to face new dangers that not only threaten Earth, but the multiverse itself. These new stories will also incorporate a host of new characters from across the DC multiverse when bringing these animated heroes and villains to comics. In this debut issue, there is a being wandering the universe, searching for its true purpose. But what it finds out on the farthest edges of the cosmos will change not just our universe, but many. Meanwhile, the war for the throne of Apocalypse arrives on Earth, and the true ruler will only be decided one way: who can destroy the Justice League? If you've been following the channel for a while, this synopsis may vaguely remind you of the potential 4th season of Justice League Unlimited. Back in 2010, Dwayne McDuffie confirmed, James Tucker had a pretty strong idea where he wanted to go if we continued, and I planted the seeds of his proposed season in Alive, with Bruce Timm having dug further into this in Toy Fair issue number 108. We had talked just briefly about doing 12 more episodes. We had an idea of doing something that would be a season-long journey through time. It would give us the chance to revisit a bunch of DC heroes from different periods. We'd go to the far future and see the Atomic Knights, have an adventure with enemy Ace during World War I, or do something again in the Old West, and there was a lot of talk of possibly doing a whole season taking place in the Batman Beyond universe. With this in mind, it's entirely possible that the seeds that McDuffie had alluded to included Darkseid's disappearance being the catalyst for the war over the Throne of Apocalypse. And perhaps the multiverse aspect is closer to just being a trip through time, but maybe there's more to it than that. This is all theorizing, so if you're watching this after the comic comes out, feel free to just go laugh at me in the comments for how off base that I was. But with Tucker, DeMatteis, and Beavers all having played around in the Batman the Brave and the Bold universe, it seems as though there's a high chance that this would be one of the universes that's affected by whatever's going on, especially since Batman the Brave and the Bold never shied away from multiverse stories and used them often in episodes like the 2-part event Deep Cover for Batman, Game Over for Owlman, and the Night of the Batmen, where that world's Batman is confirmed to have met the 2 Batmen of the DCAU, Bruce Wayne and Terry McGinnis, through the splash of cameos at the end of the episode. Though there's one animated universe I feel may hold a special importance to this series, that being the world of Justice League Gods and Monsters. You may recall a while back we did a Vanishing Point episode timelining that entire universe that consists of 6 comics, 3 short films, and of course the movie itself. Now, J.M. DeMatteis isn't in the credits for the movie, but he did help write all of the tie-in comics for that and has been on the record to say he would love to revisit that world somewhere down the line. Furthermore, another video that we did about a year and a half ago really dives deep into how Lex Luthor's story from the Gods and Monsters verse sets up an origin for the new god Metron. Given that this series is focusing on the war for the Throne of Apocalypse, clearly following the only 2 speaking parts that Metron had in the entire DCAU, Alive and Destroyer, it seems like connecting the worlds of Gods and Monsters and the DCAU would be a perfect way to tie that plot point into the multiverse plot point. Obviously though, this is just speculation, so the likeliness of it occurring is probably slim to none, and any multiverse counterparts are going to be like something we've seen on screen in the DCAU before, like Brave New Metropolis, or the Justice Lords, or the Justice Guild, or Hal Jordan? Otherwise, we don't have a lot of information for this comic quite yet. The 3 pages that have been released so far basically cover elements that are mentioned in the solicitation, other than this page here of Jean just kind of having a hard time dealing with, stuff. Something we're all doing this past year and a half. The other 2 pages that we received just confirm that Amazo is the being wandering the universe after he jettisoned to space in Wake the Dead. Oh, I can't kill Grundy. I guess I'll leave. And then we have our final page, which focuses on the war for Apocalypse, with Granny Goodness coming to attack the Justice League, and oh my god, Blue Beetle is here. There's my boy Blue. Canon confirmed. Having only shown up before in tie-in comics, Blue Beetle's inclusion here is definitely interesting. But given that Tucker and DeMatteis didn't have anything to do with those previous tie-in comics, it's likely that going through any of them for any kind of clues, oh, this was Blue Beetle's character trajectory, anything like that, probably not even worth the time it would take to do. His appearance here just really has me like the emoji eyes right now. Everything that Maddie is on this channel can just be summed into emojis. I got the and now I got the eyes. Apart from that, the team really seems to be playing things close to the chest for the time being. Tucker has said that they'll be dropping more info eventually, and when asked to comment on the possibility of Wonder Bat shipping or the inclusion of Dr. Fate or the Spectre, J.M. DeMatteis has opted to keep quiet for now. Really, the only additional information that anyone on the team has given us is that Flash is still Wally, Vixen will be here, Supergirl won't be, and maybe the Earth 12 comics will be contradicted because J.M. DeMatteis doesn't know anything about them, and if they are, that's fine by me. They didn't really fit continuity anyway. The final piece of information that we have comes from colorist Nick Filardi, who in a Reddit post said that he would love to have Shiera back in the helmet, but so far has only ever colored her where she's got gray sweatpants or her yellow tracksuit. He's probably still coloring pretty early on into the series, so we'll see over time. Honestly, all of this is incredibly exciting, regardless of the amount of hoops that we may have to jump through to try to explain how the most possible tie-in material fits with each other. And I really want to stress to y'all before I get out of here that regardless of our focus on continuity, those small errors don't make or break the quality of the comic. Sure, it would be nice for them to keep previous tie-in comics in consideration, or, you know, even go back and like double check on-screen events from time to time just to make sure everything squares up, to see Baby Doll say she's 34 years old or whatever. But at the end of the day, we've been trying to lock down every single facet of the DCAU over the past 5 years, and even we still don't have it 100% mapped out. It's tedious work to keep this stuff straight, and if the guys who gave us some of the best Batman the Animated Series and Justice League Unlimited episodes of all time figure that dealing with continuity as a whole is just gonna keep them bogged down from telling what they think are going to be some fun and good and enjoyable stories, then I, for one, say go ahead, take off the shackles of continuity and leave that shit to us complete deranged weirdos on the internet. We'll deal with it. We'll take care of it for you. We'll find a way to make it work. You sense hesitation in my voice while I'm saying that, but I mean it. I mean it. We're getting so much DCAU content from people who have been working in this world for as long as we've been fans of it, or in the case of Dini, Burnett, and Templeton, even longer than that. I was only like not born to like 1 year old at that point. I wasn't a fan, just popped out the womb being like, hey, give me that Batman. Honestly, this is all just incredibly exciting, and I, for one, cannot wait to spend the next couple months digging through all these new additions to the DCAU lore. Hey there! If you made it to the end of the video, thanks, first of all. And if you're not already subscribed, go ahead, do that. Hit the like button as well. We are going to be covering both Batman The Adventures Continue and Justice League Infinity all year round. So if you were interested in this video, there's probably a lot that you're gonna be interested in that we got coming up. On top of thanking you just for watching this, there's a group of people that we have to thank every time. So James, hit the music. First up on our new patron list, we've got Dakota. Oh my God. We got Jimmy Zhang. Thanks for becoming a patron, Jimmy. Up next, we got Barb Lake. Now, we've got the people who just give us way too much money all of the time, and we say their names every time. First up on that list is my boy, Mac. And of course, who could forget, while we're at the playground being young at heart, Aaron Young. Thank you for being a patron as long as you have. Cameo Shadowness, thanks for being a patron. Oh my God, I actually am gonna fall. Luke Mears, thank you for being a patron. Oh my God, this isn't gonna work. Hey, Robert Sterling, I see you.
And last but not least, Richard Mon 12.
I know we say this every time, but seriously, you guys, the amount of love and support that you give us through Patreon is greatly appreciated. It helps us a lot with the channel, helps us, make some moolah, get a little bit more money than YouTube is willing to give us for the content that we're putting out. A lot of this takes a lot of money, a lot of time. Every little bit that you're able to help us with is just super appreciated. If you're not a patron and you would like to be one and get your name said in the next video, or maybe even every single single video, or other things that we offer for Patreon perks like custom artwork or merch, monthly hangouts with us, you can go over to patreon.com/DCAU Watchtower, check all that out, and get a full breakdown of what you can get out of us over there. Love y'all so much. Thanks for watching the video. Once again, like, subscribe, and hit the Patreon. But that's it for me, and I will see you sometime in the near future. Mwah.